Welcome to this step-by-step guide on importing data into Jamovi.
This is the file that contains data, and we will be using Jamovi to analyze this data. This is the interface of Jamovi. This is simpler compared to SPSS. We have here the hamburger icon because it looks like a hamburger. The three horizontal lines. If you're going to click that, you can see new, open, special import, save as, and export, as well as the list of recent files that you have just created or opened. We also have here variables. So the list of variables will be shown here. Data, okay, it's like Excel also where the data are shown. The analysis, so there are options for exploration, t-tests, ANOVA, regression, frequencies, and factor. The screen is divided into two. The left side will show the data as well as the variables depending on the tab that you have chosen, and on the right side the results of the analyses. So let's try importing our data from Excel. Click the hamburger icon. I'll just call it as hamburger icon, and then I'll click open. You can browse by clicking this icon for you to look for the desired file. But for my case, I already know that this is the file that I need. Okay, but remember that there are cases that if you are going to open an Excel file, an error will occur. So something will be flashed here in the lower right hand side and it says error. So what you're going to do is to open your Excel file and then save it again. Okay, so you just have to click Save As. Okay, but for my case, I am confident that I can open this one. Okay, so I have clicked the file, and as you can see, all the data are already encoded. Pretest is definitely not nominal, it is continuous. All right. The scores of the students. Now, let me go back to my Excel file. As shown here, we do not have decimal places for pre-test and post-test. And take note later on that for grid score, we have a particular score with a decimal place. Okay, so let me go back to Jamovi now. Pretest, continuous, integer. Okay, missing values, you may skip that one. All right, so I'm done with pretest. So immediately the changes are saved. So when I go back to pretest, the continuous and integer are still shown. Post test, I'll click the same, continuous and integer. For sex, definitely it's nominal, and what we are going 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are just simply codes and they have corresponding meanings. One for male. So here in the levels portion, I will type in male and then enter. Oops. Okay. And then here for 2, I'll put space. Just a moment. And then for 2, I'll put female. Or you may decide to delete one and have male only. And for 2, you can delete that as well, just to avoid confusion. Anyway, at the lower right hand corner of this text box, of this box, you can see 1. 1 is the code and 2 is the code as well. 1 for male and 2 for female. So when you're going to encode additional data later on, you don't need to type in male and female respectively. You just have to type in the code 1 and 2 respectively. So again, for nominal variable with groupings such as sex, you have nominal, integer, and then edit the levels. Okay, now let's proceed to group. Group is similar to sex because it is also nominal. You will be using integer, and there are levels as well. So one, experimental. You just type in experimental, click enter on your keyboard, and 2 for control, click enter in the keyboard. Let's proceed to highest educational attainment. This time it is not nominal but ordinal. Still, we will be using integer. In fact, we will just be encoding 1, 2, and 3. 1 for elementary, 2 for secondary, right? Okay, at high school. 2 for high school, and 3 for college. Enter. There you go. So we're done with highest educational attainment. Now let's proceed to grit score. Grit score is continuous. And remember, continuous could stand for ratio and interval, or interval and ratio. In SPSS, interval and ratio variables are called scale variables. But in Jamovi, we are using the terminology continuous. All right. And the icon is like a mini ruler. This time I'll be choosing decimal because we have a score with decimal places. So there's no need for you to edit the levels. So that's it. We're done editing the variables. And then we go to data. Instead of numbers, the specific values are shown. So I will click this arrow to hide the upper portion. You may also click and drag to resize, and then uh, you may also do the same for the columns. So instead of showing simply the numbers, the specific groupings are now shown on the screen because we have edited the variables. We do have decimal places for the grid score as what we have edited in the settings for variables. So that's it. It's quite easy. And then just click the hamburger icon again and click Save As. And data for class exercise, you may use that file name. And remember, the file extension is OMV. And then browse to choose the location of the file.